Welcome to the Irish Farmers Journal Weekly Podcast.
Hello, my name is Katrina Murphy, Deputy News Editor with the Irish Farmers Journal. In this week's podcast, we talk to Tipperary North IFA Chairman Tim Cullinan. He led a delegation this week to meet with the Oireachtas Agriculture Committee on the subject of farm inspections.
Look, I would say it was a worthwhile meeting with the Oireachtas Committee today. All the concerns we have in North Tipperary was relayed to the committee and to the chairman. This has been going on for a long time. We asked the serious questions to know why we're having more inspections and penalties than any other county in the country. And in particular, we had serious issue with the way in which these inspections have been carried out in the past. I mean, we've given the examples numerous times before today of inspectors going into farms where those people had died on the farm. Also, we discussed changes that was made in the handbook that farmers get with their single farm payment application every year. That was discussed today and taken on board. And also we raised serious concerns about the appeals process and the fact that it's all department or former department employees that's on the appeals process. I would say there was unanimous decision or agreement around the room that the appeals process has to be reviewed, and absolutely that there needs to be independent people put on that appeals process.
From here now, what's the next step, or what did the committee say in response? Obviously it was held in camera. What did the committee say that they were going to do, or did they just say they'd take your comments on board?
Look, the committee, obviously they didn't make their decision while we were in the room. They were to take a decision. I'm sure that will be known in the next number of days, and I sincerely hope that they'll take the decision to bring the department into the committee.
The Irish Farmers Journal Weekly Podcast.
Crops and Cultivation 2017 took place in Oak Park on Wednesday, and news correspondent Barry Cassidy talked to Teagasc crops researcher Dermot Forrestal.
Yeah, well, Barry, here at the site here that you're on, it's the cultivations demonstration part, and as you're aware, at Crops and Cultivation here, it's a mixture of all our crops research here at Oak Park, but we also have partnered up with the Farmers Journal for a cultivations demonstration, so that we show farmers, growers, and even the machinery trade themselves different machinery systems for establishing crops.
Okay, so you'd say it'd be a very, very helpful thing for a farmer to come down here and see something that's going on here. Might change something that they're doing, or something small.
Yes, I think so. I think farmers are always interested in cultivation and crop establishment. And, in the past we had one system, which was a plough-based system. Lots of different variations in it, but plough-based. Today we're showing really 4 different systems. We have plough-based systems, min-till-based systems, strip-till systems, and direct drill. And farmers are certainly interested in these systems. They're interested even in the stubble cultivation elements of those systems. And also, the other added part to it is farmers are now interested in cover crops as well. So these systems are there to establish cover crops and also able to handle cover crops when we're finished with the cover crops.
Okay, so for the tillage industry in general, what would you say would the outlook in the short to medium term future?
Look, the short to medium term is not good at the moment. It's all price dependent. Our crops are looking good. I think growers are producing very, very good crops. And again, this year yield prospects look reasonably good at this point, but we never know until it's in the trailer. But the overhang there is price, because you're looking at maybe the 5th year now in a row where we're going to have quite a weak price. So that is putting people under pressure. But tillage farmers are resilient. Those that are in the business are generally very, very good growers. They're very tight on costs, so they are surviving. But they do need a little bit of lift on price. There's no doubt about that.
Dermot, thanks very much for that.
Okay.
We hope that you're enjoying this Irish Farmers Journal podcast. Find out more at farmersjournal.ie.
With the tillage harvest looming, news correspondent Odile Evans sat down with tillage farmer John McGuinness from County Louth to talk about input prices and this year's straw market.
Crops are looking quite good at the minute. We never really know till the crops go over the weighbridge and work out the yields. Anything before that's only a guess. It's been a low enough year disease pressure wise, so crops have got a good chance at a good autumn to start with, doing in good conditions, and a mild winter. And springtime has been fairly good to them. It was dry for a few weeks, but crops are looking in general pretty good. Winter barley's kind of burning in now. I suppose it's filling at the minute. We'd have good expectations for that.
You've had good conditions for growth there for the last couple of weeks, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a nice mix of rain and good grain filling weather. We don't want too much intense heat and sunshine at the minute. It'll burn in too fast. These kind of days are ideal.
Yeah.
and just nice mix of rain. We dry spell for a few weeks there, so the crops aren't as stressed as they were.
So if the weather clears up now in July, you're sorted, really?
Yeah, pretty much. We've got on top of most diseases. We had a bit of rust and wheat, but it's just due to dry weather, and it's fairly well calmed down now.
Okay, cool. How would you see the market for straw?
Market for straw, we expect to be quite good this year. Straw was very hard to make in good condition last year, so we expect a good. A lot of our straw go to Northern Ireland, so even things like upcoming Brexit and that might affect that a bit, but hopefully it'll be fairly easy on us. It could complicate things, but we expect straw demand to be good. It depends on weather at the time and stuff like that, but we have our own customers for straw every year, and the straw is good from the previous year. They'll probably come back to us this year.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a whole lot of spare straw supply in the country at the minute, would there?
No, it'd be tight. We actually chopped a lot of straw last year because weather conditions weren't good enough. We chopped a lot of wheat and straw, and oats, obviously rape, beans, and we'd hope not to have to do that this year, but it does good to the ground, but not to the pocket. Maybe in the for the minute, like it might be good in the future as a fertiliser, but in general you need that €100 an acre, whatever it comes to.
That is what you'd be needing to make it cost effective, like about €100 an acre.
Yeah, the margins are that tight growing tillage crops at the minute that every little counts, and straw is a massive part of that. We have our kind of customers that have been loyal to us, and we've been loyal to them, I suppose, and we don't want to change that. So it's mostly dairy farmers and beef farmers in Northern Ireland. We supply with straw. We're the closest point to Northern Ireland, I suppose, and that wouldn't be a good tillage area.
So like Brexit then, if you do get a hard border, if you get...
Could add a lot of paperwork to it. It could add, that would be the main thing. It's just a lot of delays and unnecessary hassle without any benefit towards us.
You're not worried about the, extra charges going over the border in terms of duty?
Possibly could be a problem, yeah. In the last week or so, maybe it's looking like it won't be such a hard border with events in England, but see what happens.
It's a worry, though. Yeah.
We'd hope that it wouldn't come to that.
And then on the input side of things, fertiliser prices have kind of come down really this year, haven't they? What about
fertiliser prices? Started low back at Christmas. They were pretty low, or before Christmas actually, and I suppose we forward bought some fertiliser, and we got good deals on nitrogen and things like that. Did go up plenty then as it came into the time of the year you needed it in February and March and April. Fertiliser in general is a huge cost in growing crops. It could be €170 or €80 an acre on crop winter wheat, and we're looking at trying to get away from using chemical fertiliser at the minute, going more to organic manures like pig slurry and cattle slurry, things like that.
Interesting, because I was featuring in the paper this week about pigs.
Good.
And one of the things that the guys were saying was that they need more kind of better planning in terms of shipping slurry, because they find that they're bearing a lot of the cost, and the tillage guys wouldn't be bearing as much of the cost as they would. What would your views on that be?
Well, just from our own point of view, we have a fattening unit that's opened up very close to proximity to some of our land, and once there's not a big transport cost, that's good for us. The big problem with slurry is it's expensive to transport. And
You're listening to the Irish Farmers Journal podcast.
We take a look behind the scenes at the Royal Highland Show, which took place in Edinburgh over the weekend.
Okay, I'm here with Michael Alford from Foxhill Livestock. First off, congratulations on your heifer.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure you were absolutely thrilled.
Fantastic. We won the last 4 years. We won the limousine title 3 times in the last 4 years.
Oh, brilliant.
It was the first time we won the interbreed, so that's fantastic.
That's and she's a fantastic heifer.
She was shown at Stars of the Future, which is in Stirling at Christmas, the calf show, and she was a limousine champion there and reserve interbreed champion.
Oh, very good.
And then she's come here and she's won the limousines and won the interbreed.
Yeah, she had a fabulous way about her when she was walking around the ring.
Fantastic
heifer. A great sense about her as well. She's a great walker.
Oh, tremendous! Her mother was Glenrock Illusion, was actually sold for 125 world record price for a limousine, a female, 125,000 guineas. And that was one of our first calves.
Yeah, because what I noted was the temperament of her. Because sometimes limousines are known for slightly giddy temperament.
No,
But
they can be, but then there's good and bad in all breeds.
Yeah.
But if you get the right dam lines in the Limousin breed, then they're not a problem. I would say our dam lines are as quiet as anything. You can do anything with them.
yeah. And where is her future going to take her? Is she going to be shown?
She's going to the Greater Yorkshire,
Yeah.
onto the Royal Welsh, and that'll be it for this year.
Oh, very good. Were you in the 3 counties with her?
And no, we didn't show it at the 3
No.
counties.
Oh, saving her for here.
We certainly did. Well, we showed at Devon County and the Royal Cornwall,
Yeah.
and we won the interbreed at both of them shows with two different beasts. Well, she hadn't been shown till we got here.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we had three shows, 3 interbreed titles of 3 different cattle,
saving the best till last.
without a doubt. Yeah.
And I'll have to ask, of course, her sire, Foxhill Irish lad.
Yeah,
Where is the connection? Is there any connection to Ireland?
Yeah, there is a little one actually.
Yeah.
It was when we first started breeding Limousins, the first bunch of embryo calves were born, and we had a chap over from Ireland called Stephen O'Kane,
Yeah.
and he came over and gave us a hand, and we sort of pally with him. And I was busy working, and we had a couple of calves born each day, and he phoned me up 2 o'clock one afternoon. He said we've had a fantastic calf born, and I got him. I couldn't believe how good it was, so we called it Irish Lad.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And it was sold in Carlisle for 38,000 guineas to Jim Goldie. And then we kept some semen, and we flushed Illusion, 125,000 guinea Glenrock Illusion to him, and we produced this.
That's fantastic. So we can take some credit for the name. An Irishman came up with the name anyway.
He certainly did, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thanks very much, Michael.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Odile Evans here, news correspondent with the Farmers Journal Scotland, and I'm here at the chainsaw demonstration. Ian, could you tell me maybe a little bit more about what you're doing here and how popular an attraction this is at the Royal Highland Show?
We're doing demonstrations on chainsaw carving. We've been coming for years. I think it's quite a big pool. There seems to be big crowds watching when we're doing our demos.
And what does it take? Like, how many years does it take to be able to carve out a bear that we see there?
I think you could have a go at any time. I've been at it for 15 years. There's 2 more carvers here. They've been at it longer than me, so we kind of know what we're doing, so it makes it easier.
And is it a hobby for you, or is it something that you do
full time? Yeah, full time.
Okay, and so typically, if you're, obviously you're under pressure here to get things done quicker.
Yeah.
How long would a normal carving take? Should we say?
I think you would aim to do a couple a day, maybe. 4-foot carvings, you would aim to do a couple a day. But you always get people coming in and things, So you can get days you'll only get 1 done and nothing.
And what is the ideal timber log? What do you look for when you're buying your timber?
Cedar, giant redwood, things that last outside, durable wood, soft to carve, but last outside.
And what do you find then is popular? Are people buying, ornaments for the garden? Like, what's the more popular option?
Yeah, definitely just for a decoration for the garden, but we do benches and more practical things you can use as well. They've got a use,
Yeah. And what's the biggest challenge you've taken on with the carving? What's been your kind of pinnacle, shall we say?
The last one I did was an 8-foot skateboard with a little boy sitting on the front of it. That was quite challenging. We get weird things all the time. I've done Jimi Hendrix before. I've done just loads of weird stuff.
Really? Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah.
Class.
Elvis Presley to do, so that'll be a challenge, yeah.
Great. And is that just for someone for their...
Yeah, just people that love a certain person or,
Wow, okay. And tell us, where do you learn this stuff? Like, do you just pick it up off the other guys here, or...?
I self-taught, really. There's nobody near me doing this when I started. So.
And now there is? It's gotten more popular?
It's far more popular now. When I started, it was 4 of us in Scotland, and now there's 40, probably 50 in Scotland. So, yeah.
So it's quite competitive then?
We do a big competition every year in Cardridge. And we get 25 carvers turn up for that.
And who judges that? Is it based on speed? Is it based on accuracy?
It's everything. We get 4 hours to get an 8-foot log. You can do what you want.
Right.
The judging's just artists mainly. They get sort of local artists to do the judging, and it's such a diverse competition. There's the variety of carvings is unbelievable.
It's no doubt it's challenging.
Yeah.
Perfect. What for you? What's the highlight of the Highland Show? Do you get to see many of the stands here? Or?
We get to see nothing.
You're stuck here all day.
We're here just in case we've got an extra 5 minutes carving. So yeah.
So it's literally just between demonstrations you get to do your
yeah,
carving.
we get an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening, and in between we're filling time when there's nothing on. We'll get 5 minutes here and there. We can sand them and burn them in between.
Yeah.
Get them finished.
And do you sell them here or do you bring them back?
Hopefully sell them here and don't take anything home.
I've seen some lovely little Highland cows and kilts and whatnot there.
You've got to have the Highland cows at the Highland Show.
I can't bring them back to Ireland with me, I'm afraid, but perfect. No, thank you very much. It was lovely talking to you.
Yeah.
And I'm here with Fraser Anderson at the Royal Highland Show. And Fraser, you're all the way from the Shetlands here today. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing at the Highland Show.
We're just doing kind of a few young boys trying to promote their breed, trying to make folk realise that the Shetland sheep, for all it is a pity sheep, it's good on a commercial basis.
Yeah. And so tell me, where is the Shetlands? How far away is it from here?
I honestly couldn't tell you how far away it is, but it's a 12-hour ferry run to Shetland. We leave at 7 when we get here at 7 at night, and we get here at 7 in the morning.
Right. And so you brought your sheep all the way down, 12-hour ferry journey, and then how far was it from there to the Highland Show?
Well, it's was it 3-hour drive from Aberdeen to Edinburgh.
Right. Okay. So that's a long way to come. So you're here to promote the Shetland sheep, and tell me what breed, how do you breed this sheep? What's the genetics like?
It's a very varied breed. You can cross it with nearly anything.
Okay.
It'll cross well with anything, and it's good for a foundation female.
And what's the history of the Shetland breed?
Well, the Shetland breed is just history.
Well, what's its origins? It was just a sheep that you've always had on the island?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's native to Shetland. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And typically speaking, are they good mothers?
They're a cracking mother nobility. Yeah.
Yeah. And would they be good on mountain land?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're very varied. The kind of ground they can graze on. They're good foragers.
Yeah. Okay. And so, are you full-time farming at home?
No, I have a full-time job as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many sheep are you running then?
It's about 250 lambing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And is it hard to juggle the two?
It can be, yeah. Yeah, it can be. Busy times like lambing kind of causes problems, but you work around it.
And usually, with the Shetland sheep, are they talking 2 or 3 lambs, or how many lambs do they have?
Yeah, you're sticking twins usually.
Really?
You get a lot of twins, but on hill ground you're maybe looking for more singles maybe, but they can certainly handle twins.
Okay. And have you? Would you finish your lambs, or what? Do you
No. Usually, most people in Shetland will go for the store market.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they bring them down to the mainland.
That's right. A lot of people go to Thainston, but a lot sold privately in Shetland.
Okay. And is that because of the land type you have in Shetland? Is it hard?
Yeah,
to
it probably is. Yeah, and the cost of getting feeds and concentrates and that up to Shetland.
Okay. And what would you need to make money when you sell a store lamb?
You need to be. It actually depends on the breed, Kim. It all depends on what breed and weight. If you can get a 40-kilo lamb away, you're happy with that.
And you're obviously, the Shetlands is quite exposed. You're in a cold area. How long is are they outside all year round? What's your season like?
Yeah, your pure Shetland will be all year round. Yeah.
Oh, all year round.
Yeah.
Wow, and you'd be supplementing them with hay, or?
Yeah, look, it varies. A lot of folk will supplement them with feed blocks, or do silage, or concentrated meat, but you try and avoid that as much as you can. Yeah.
Right. It's and is the wool different to?
Yeah, the wool is good. It's very good for spinning. It's a superior wool.
Yeah, because you have some jumpers and things like that here.
Yeah.
So that's obviously native to the Shetlands as well.
That's right.
What sort of fibre content has wool got, or do you know why is it different to other wools?
That I'm not just too sure about.
It's not like merino wool or that.
No. It's a cramp this week, but it's a good cramp.
Yeah, but wool prices, certainly in the British Wool Marketing Board wouldn't be great. Is this? Do you ship any wool off the islands, or do you try to spin everything? Or
no, this gets shipped off the islands. Yeah, we usually sell to a broker in Shetland, and then he'll ship it off to the mainland.
And what would you get for a fleece?
I'm not sure for a fleece. I think it's about £1.40 a kilo.
So it's not a lot.
No. It usually pays for the shearers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're down here to promote the Shetland breed, and you're here with a friend as well. Are you farming together?
No, we're from different areas in Shetland. Yeah. He's from the west side. But the two other boys from the west side, and we're two from the north.
Okay, and is that about making the genetics of the Shetland breed more, is just spreading the word about it, or is it about increasing profitability for you? What are you trying to sell, breeding lambs? Or?
Yeah, we try to promote the breeding side of it a lot, because a lot of folk will work with the mule, and the cost of the two, like your Shetland mule will be easier to keep, which you can give with bigger lamb. It can work like that. We're trying to get more numbers doing through Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are they easier to keep? What's the...
Just because they're hardier and they don't take so much feed.
Yeah.
But they'll still have a good bag of milk under them.
Yeah, and they can produce a big lamb at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you recommend pairing a Shetland with?
Well, we usually, it'll be things like Cheviot. If you cross them good with a Cheviot, and then you keep that yellow lamb on, and then get that onto your big continental breeds like Texas or whatever.
And what age would you be able to kill them at, and what weight would they be?
You're looking 40 plus kilo definitely for killing weight.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how many months?
It'll be, if they're born in May, you'd be selling store in September. So then the man would finish them however many weeks. I'm not sure about that.
And what is interest like here at the Highland Show? Are people showing interest in it?
Yeah, it seems to be getting more and more every year. It's good.
So you come down here every year?
Yeah, this is my third year.
Wow. And you pay for the stand as well?
The Flockwood Trust pays for the stand. That's who we're down through, is the Flockwood Trust.
Okay.
Yeah, Shetland Flockwood Trust.
Okay. And is it the same, just the two of you every year?
No, there's four of us.
Four of you, okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And do you sell many jumpers?
No, not said. They're just on show.
Oh, you're not selling them?
No, we're not selling them. No.
Oh.
Maybe next year.
Well, if you wore them, it'd be good
advertising. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It'd be too warm.
Yeah, perfect. So you just had the 2 ewes and 2 lambs here today?
Yeah. Just as an example.
Yeah, cool. Tell me, on the Shetlands, how many young farmers would you see getting into farming? Is it a popular choice of career?
No, in recent years it's probably not been. No, there not been many young people coming in, but maybe lately there are more people starting to show interest. I would say.
Okay.
I'm not sure how long it'll go on, but it's kind of a like unsecure kind of situation just now, kind of with payments and such like.
Yeah. And do you know how many farms are on the island?
The 950 crafts and farms. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're pretty much all sheep?
Yeah, there are a lot of sheep. There are a few with cattle too, a couple of dairies.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Dairies as well?
Yeah.
And do they send the milk off the island, or is it processed?
It's mainly on the islands, I think, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Irish Farmers Journal Weekly Podcast.
Our beef specialist, Ciarán Lenihan, went to visit Leitrim Better farmer Philip Kevill to see how his farm has benefited from drainage.
Philip Kevill is the new Leitrim representative on the Better Farm Beef programme. Philip, you're on, I suppose, an underlying heavy soil here, but you've done a bit of drainage work in recent times. How did you do it, and are you happy with it?
Yeah, I've suffered with ground in the past. I suppose it's getting cattle out of heavy enough cows. Ground was mucking up, a lot of rainfall. Getting rid of water was a big problem. So I got talking to my local contractor. He's doing shorting at $5.50 a metre. That was supplying the pipe and the stone. I went off after I got the pipe myself. I'm putting in a 3-inch pipe and filling the shorts to the top with the stoning cart. Very successful. Ground has dried up immensely. You can see the results when you put out fertiliser. When you go with your fertiliser, your ground is drier, you're getting better grass growth, better grass return. So it's working out 100% for me. I had done about 60% of the farm last year so far. I've done another bit this year. I hope to I'll have all the farm done this year, with the bit around the house and away from the house as well. Plan on shorting that and reseeding it. So it's working out. It's working out good for me.
So paint a picture for us, for the listeners here. Give us a difference between this time last year or the lower one. Are you getting out earlier, more grazings, more grass, more bales?
Definitely. Done the meadow ground, getting better quality grass, better silage, cutting it earlier. My cows are getting out to grass earlier, getting better returns of grass, and suppose you're getting better value out of your fertiliser. You're not putting it on wet ground. I know the weather has a big part to play in that, but when I get the sun here, my ground is dry in 3 days. Everything's dried up, ready to go again.
I suppose you're stocked under 1.5 livestock units at the moment, and we just sat down to do your farm plan and we came up with, I think it's just under 2.5.
Yeah.
So it'd be crucial that you get a long grazing season here.
It'd be crucial I get a long grazing season, get my cows out earlier. Going up to that sort of stocking rate, you wouldn't want to be leaving cows in that length. So that's my forward plan, is to get them out earlier. I think I've the hardest of the work put in before I was entered for this, so it should be cruising from here.
Brilliant. We'll follow your progress.
Thanks very much.
The Better Farm Challenge podcast, brought to you by the Irish Farmers Journal and Teagasc, supported by ABP, Don Meats, FBD and Keepack.
And in this week's Irish Country Living, the tragic death of farmer Thomas Power last week has again highlighted the serious lack of high-level cardiac care services in the southeast.
Mary Phelan here from Irish Country Living. I'm here with Irish Country Living's editor Mairead Lavery, and Mairead, you're going to tell us about a story you covered down in Waterford this week. Can you describe the mood down there and tell us about exactly what happened?
Well, I don't know where you'd want to have been last week because the media was full of the story of Thomas Power. A young man who had chest pains last Sunday week, drove himself into the hospital in Waterford, was transferred by ambulance to Cork and died on the way. Why I was there was because at 5 p.m. In the afternoon on Friday there was a vigil that was marking the fact that the cardiac care service stopped at that time. If you were in hospital before 5 to 5, it was there. The specialist cardiac unit at 5:05, it wasn't there and wouldn't be back until 9 o'clock that Monday morning. I attended the vigil, which several hundred people there. They're really angry. They're really upset. Very sad about what happened to Mr. Power, and feel and believe that it could be their brother, their father, their mother, their sister at any stage. People talk to me about, hearing an ambulance over the weekends now and wondering, is it a heart attack case and will they make a hospital in time? So it's all about the lack of a 24/7 emergency care, cardiac care unit, which the South East says it has the population to deliver, but which the Minister for Health and his specialists say, no, the catchment area is 175,000 people, whereas the local people will argue that it's taking in Wexford, South Tipperary, Kilkenny City and County and Waterford City and County, and that population is much nearer the 500,000 mark. And they feel isolated and they feel left out and they feel ignored on this issue, and it's not going to go away. They had warned that the fact that Waterford didn't have this service was going to mean a loss of life. But in this case, it was a loss of life. A 38-year-old man, recently married, expecting their first child, and just people are really angry and they're frightened. One woman said to me, she hears an ambulance now on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday, and all she can pray for is that it isn't a heart attack case. Another man said, are we expected to take out our sat-navs and decide, whether it's quicker to get to Dublin or Cork?
Yeah.
And the bottom line here is you cannot schedule a heart attack. And the South East region is one of the few regions in the country where there isn't an emergency service. I won't say at their doorstep, but it takes an average of 88 minutes to get to Cork. The golden rule here is 90 minutes when it comes to a heart attack. The road is it's not a motorway. You have to go through Castlemartyr, you have to go through Killy, and it's an average of 88 minutes. That leaves very, very little time for anything that goes wrong.
Okay.
And that's what people are feeling. Very, they're not protected, and they feel they haven't got the care that, you know, is absolutely essential in this day and age.
Okay, and this is something that they've been campaigning about for a long time. Is it just that it's been highlighted by Thomas Power, but locals have been feeling quite strongly about this for a number of years?
They have, and there's several support groups there for it. There's advocacy groups, and they did think they actually had the second CAT scan. Now, they have a CAT scan unit which is essential for high-level cardiac care. It operates between 9 and 5 weekdays. The second one would allow them to take the emergencies because it would be offering that 24/7 service. That's what they're campaigning for. At the moment, I mean, there has been improvements to the service in that people who have elective procedures, a lot of them are being treated in Cork, so the numbers on the waiting list for those elective procedures are decreasing. There's also a tender out for a part-time CAT scan unit which would actually help, you know, reduce those waiting lists as well. But it's the emergency situation is where the real problem is.
Okay.
Now, you know, they thought they had it, but a review by a really specialist cardiologist said that with the catchment area of 175,000 people, that wasn't enough people to justify the emergency service 24 hours, 24/7, and that they would be better treated in more populated regional areas where there was the cardiac care unit. The local people dispute this totally in terms of the population. They say that there's nearer 500,000 people covered in this area because people would be closer to Waterford than they are to areas where they're currently assigned as their nearest CAT scan unit or their nearest 24/7 emergency cardiac care unit. And that's the debate that's going to continue. You know, one lot maintaining that there's far more people impacted here, and you know, we know the specialist care units have worked when it comes to cancer care, and this isn't a case of in my backyard we want every service and we want it 10 miles down the road too. A very big number of people are absolutely on the margin and outside the margin when it comes to the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the critical thing.
Okay, because Dr. Herity in his report was saying it was an average of 88 minutes from this region to get to Cork, but I mean, an average of 88 minutes could very easily see you exceed the 90 minutes with traffic.
And I mean, you know, in the case of the late Thomas Power, he felt chest pains and he drove himself in from Dunmore to Waterford. I mean, had he headed for Cork himself, you know, it might have even been a different matter.
Yeah.
Because he was coming, he was backtracking, and so, you know, but the anger I felt from people of all generations, both young and middle-aged and older people, that this could have been their father, their brother, their husband, and they felt so sad for the family. You know, a young man, an only son, his parents still there, 2 sisters, his wife, and she expecting a baby. And this happened, and they really feel very, very strongly about it.
Okay.
So where it's going to go, I don't know, but I certainly don't believe, or I certainly, from what I saw at the vigil and from the people I spoke to, they're not going to let this go. They want this service, and, you know, unlike the case with cancer, where these regional super centres exist all around the country and are doing excellent work, they maintain that the same model is not going to work when it comes to cardiac care because of the time factor. The time is critical.
Okay.
There is only that 90 minutes in a lot of cases, and you've got to get the specialist care, and the people in the southeast do not have it for 168 hours in a week, 128 hours out of the 168 hours.
So 3/4 of the week, essentially, 75% of the week they don't have it. And you mentioned in your article about helipads and helicopters as well. Can they have any any help in these situations?
If there was a helipad, there's no helipad in Cork. Waterford, now I believe there's planning permission for one, and it's on the way. But Waterford has a helipad in the local, I think it's rugby club, but it's not on site. So that means there's transfers. having to take place. So, you know, there's time lost there as well.
Yeah.
And by the time you scramble a helicopter, you know, just even think of how you know, somebody has to get to a hospital. The helicopter has to be scrambled. Is it there?
Get
it
from
has
the hospital
land
to the helipad.
to wherever the helipad is. It's not on site. And then get to Cork. And get from there to there. 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just an incredibly short amount of time.
Okay.
And that is, you know, that is best. That's not people making that up. That is best practice, to be within 90 minutes of a really high level cardiac care unit.
Okay.
So again, you know, Ireland, we talk about balanced regional development, and we talk about supporting the regions. You know, how can you, you know, justify not having this service in such a large region, and such a region that is, you know, go ahead and progressive, and, you know, with a lot of big population, and not have this essential service.
Okay.
And that's what the people of Waterford, South Kilkenny City, South Tipperary and South Wexford are asking for.
Okay, well, I'm sure they'll all be very interested in reading more about this story in this week's Country Living. Thank you very much, Mairead.
The Irish Farmers Journal podcast, online at farmersjournal.ie and on iTunes every Thursday.